Well, it looks like you caught me about ready to have a snack, so why don't we dig into this and see what we got. This right here is a Hachiya Persimmon, and as you can tell, it's pretty wrinkly. My finger, I can touch it and the skin no longer bounces back. It's mushy. This is a lighter colored one. You can see the difference in the two. So there's two types of persimmons: astringent and non-astringent. Hachiya is astringent. Astringent means that it's got tannins, and tannins are what makes your tongue and mouth draw up. We talked about numerous times on my channel, especially when I'm brewing and stuff of this nature. If I were to eat this one right here, it would be practically inedible. And I've been in stores where they had these and they were trying to throw these away when they're ripe. This is what you want. It turns a dark color and it gets mushy, and that's what you want. And to eat one, what you do is you just take the little stem piece right here where the little flower bud would be, and you just kind of pull it out. Takes a little bit of skill, but you can do it very easily. I'm doing super slow for the camera just so you can see how it is. I normally do it faster. That is pretty much it, and then you take your fingers and you can break it apart. This is what the inside looks like. Then I take a spoon and I just scoop it out and I eat it. Man, that is super sweet. It is almost, it's got almost pumpkin notes and citrus notes, but it has other like custardy flavors. And it's really, really juicy and really, really sweet. I can't eat many of these because I'm diabetic. They're awesome. I love these. The persimmon is actually a part of Northwest Florida history and part of Southern history that really is kind of interesting. A lot of people don't understand that persimmons, even though we have native persimmons, the ones we have are like little marbles. They're small, they're astringent, and even when they're ripe, it's hard to get some that's edible. They're great for deer forage, things of that nature. You have two parts of Southern culture. The first part is pre-war Northern aggression, what people called Civil War. Nothing about it was civil, so we always call it the War Northern Aggression if you live in the South. That was mostly rice, grains, textiles, things of that nature like cotton. It was not a lot of fruit trees. After the War Northern Aggression, the federal government changed the Constitution. So there's elements like, one of the big ones that they changed was the Senate was no longer controlled by the states. So they actually went in and changed the Constitution from what it was before that war. There's other laws enacted, for instance, marriage license. There was only one state before the War Northern Aggression that actually did marriage license, and that was Virginia. After the war, every state had to have marriage license because the federal government wanted to have more control when they took it from the states. And so states had less and less control, but there was also a building back of the South. And in that building back, the federal government wanted to create a narrative of what our identity would be. And so that is the reason why Georgia got to be known for peaches. Before then, peaches were not a thing, really. Georgia was known for cash crops. And then because the peaches really liked the clay soil of Georgia and parts of Alabama, those areas started producing peaches. Florida, they tried a number of things with us. Persimmons was one of them, but they didn't understand the difference between a fuyu and a Hachiya Persimmon. Fuyu persimmon is non-astringent. You can eat it like an apple. Hachiya persimmon, yeah, you gotta wait till it's almost rotten before you can eat it. It's gotta be super ripe, super mushy. And it doesn't have a strong flavor. So it's not like something that you can put it in pies and cookies and say, oh, that's persimmon. It's a very, very mild flavor. And, I talk about the taste of pumpkin and custard and citrus, but those are very mild. You got a high level of sweetness, a high water content, and a very mild flavor. But it's a nice flavor. I like it. So they tried that. They tried pears. If you ever come to Northwest Florida, people will talk about sand pears. That is not a variety of pear. It is saying that whatever variety of pear you have in our soil will have a gritty, sandy texture. So people from up north, when they move down here, they think that a sand pear is a variety. And they don't know why we grow it. They don't understand that whatever, it could be Bosque, it could be Bartlett, whatever you put in the ground, it will be sandy. That's the way it is. We have no control over it. So the federal government tried a bunch of things. They tried doing peaches. In fact, my grandparents grew one that was called an Indian peach. It was actually a crimson, almost burgundy red flesh. And they were real small, super, super small. Very good fruits. Loved them. Wish I could find one like that, but it's hard to find nowadays. But they tried everything as they was reinventing the Southern identity and creating a narrative for us that we were forced. We were occupied and we had no control. So the federal government, they sent forces in and occupied the South and then forced us into this narrative that they created until finally they let loose enough that we were able to go about our own way. And so there's a lot of orchards that were created devoted to persimmons. And because after a few generations we changed our fruit perceptions, this fell out of favor. Especially with the baby boomers, they like crisp, fruit, and this is not something you can have. And then they started to learn about fuyu, and fuyu became more popular, but it never did take off much, because if you've ever had a unripe persimmon, and this is unripe, even though it looks ripe, it's not. If you ever have an unripe persimmon, you'll never want to eat a persimmon again. And there's not too much you can do with this fruit other than just eat it fresh. In Japan, they peel them when they're at this stage and dry them, and then you get a rubbery, textured fruit that's ripe, but all the water content, and so you got more flavor. But it's not like you can make a pie with it, or something like that. And so it's considered a novelty, even in Asia. but it's good. It's a good fruit. For me, it's a taste of my childhood. It's a taste of my heritage. And I just wanted to share it with you because a lot of people don't grow it anymore. And I think it's a great fruit to have just to eat the fruit. I mean, I've tried making cookies. You really can't say it's persimmon cookies. It is a cookie with some flavoring to it, but not something you overtly say, oh, that is persimmon. I have taken them and tried to ferment them into wine. I will tell you right now, if you try to ferment it out into wine, that astringency comes back with a vengeance. And it's almost like a Sylvester and Tweety episode where Sylvester was tricked into taking alum and his mouth puckered up, and then he's trying to eat Tweety, but his mouth goes, and he had to have a straw. Anyway, as I was saying, my dog was interrupting. It's not something you make into wine. It's not something that you can really make into a fixed product that you can say, oh, this is really persimmon. This is something that you just enjoy for the fruit. For me, it's a relic of my heritage. It's a relic of my past, my childhood. It's something that I enjoy. And I think it's good to grow some crops like that where maybe it's not the most popular. Maybe it's not something you're going to make money off of. I mean, these right here, not many people buy them because either they don't know how to eat it, or if they ever ate one and didn't know what they was eating, they never want another one. So it takes knowledge. It takes time to understand. And how many times do you really just want to eat a mushy fruit? That's not common in our culture anymore. It used to be common. It used to be very common, but it's not anymore. But it's something good. It's something fun to try. If you ever see one, make sure that you're looking at a Hachiya and not a Fuyu. Fuyu will be kind of flattened, and Fuyu and Hachiya are the two most popular varieties. That's the reason why I keep referring to them. But if you ever get a Hachiya, let it get to where it is mush in your hands. And then do what I did and eat it. I think you will enjoy it if you will try it. With that, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you do, give it a thumbs up. We really appreciate it. Share it. Maybe you've ate a persimmon before and you want to show somebody what it looks like and how to eat it. That'd be great to share. That helps us out. If you ever have ate one of these, or you like them, or you've been able to do something with them that I hadn't talked about, please comment down below. I would love to hear your comments on it. And if you haven't already, and why haven't you, watching to the end, go ahead and subscribe to this channel and hit that notification bell so you can be alerted to future content. And with that, I'll see you again next time. Bye.